evening, race fans. Bringing you a little something different here tonight, and man, oh man, we're really excited for it. We got a money race up tonight. Sorry, I got troubles happening already. Super late model, Charlotte Legends Oval, and I'm actually thrilled to death to have a return guest in the booth with me. We got Matt Rogers, but also you've seen him out on the track on Thursday nights. Mr. Chuck Pegleg Felts is going to try his hand at being in the broadcast booth. So very, very excited for that. First and foremost, Mr. Chuck Pegleg Felts, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, Tanner. How are you? And I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to be a guest tonight on your broadcast. A little nervous, but I am definitely looking forward to it. You guys do a great job, and thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Absolutely, brother, and I'm super excited to have you in here. I've watched from afar to see how far you really have came since we started racing together. It's been insane, man. I mean, just to see you battling up front with the likes of, Matt Rogers, Ray Rogers, all of them, Chris McLean, see you doing battle up there every Thursday night, it does the heart well. So, awesome to have you here with me tonight. Also joined by the driver number 96, Mr. Matt Rogers. Matt, how you doing tonight, brother?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm excited to watch these cars go around the track.
So, it's something different tonight, guys. Super late models on a Legend Oval. And now Chuck said earlier, before we went live, he said it states that this is a quarter-mile track. If you just give this track the old Never Fails eye test, man, oh man, it seems smaller than that. So I look for tonight to be treacherous. There's going to be tempers flying, but at the end of the night, there's going to be one driver that walks away with a little bit extra cheese in their pocket. $30 to tonight's winner. Matt, I'll ask you, when you come to a race like this, any type of short track really, what's your outlook and how do you approach a race like this really?
Well, I think the biggest thing would be saving some tires. I don't believe they have any tires in the pits for these cars, so 150 laps is going to put some wear on them.
You're exactly right, especially with how sharp these corners are. That means you're really putting a lot of steering wheel input in it, turning that wheel left. And every time you do that, you're making that right front of the car really, really work. And then, contrary to that, you're also making the right rear really work. So, you're going to be putting a lot of stress on them wheels. Now, Mr. Pegleg, what about you? How would you approach a race like this if you was out there doing battle on a little quarter-mile flat track such as what we have tonight?
Well, thanks for me being put on the spot with that one. I will admit to you and all the viewers, I have zero experience with a short track of this distance. The only short track I run is really what's on the NASCAR circuit, trucks and above. And I'm also have zero experience with the super late models. I do realize that's a lot of horsepower and a lot of weight for these cars. So I would assume, and I'm actually looking forward to hearing some of the drivers' input on what they did to prepare, but I would assume, along with what Matt Rogers had just said, has to be an awful lot of throttle control because of the horsepower and weight that's involved to get it to rotate. That's what I would assume. And I'm really excited to see how these guys will this beast around such a short track.
Absolutely. As we're going into qualifying, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different qualifying. You see all the cars lined up on pit road, or what is considered pit road for tonight. Going to be single car action. So what that means, guy's going to go out there. He's going to do his quote unquote out lap. He's going to make a lap around the track. Then when he comes out of turn 4, he crosses that start finish line. Then that's when qualifying actually starts, and he's going to take his 2 laps and then pull back in pit lane, and we might be able to have a quick word with him as I'm waiting for a driver right now to head out onto the track. If Josh did it like he done it last time, he did it from the slowest guy in practice went first, and then the fastest guy in practice went last. So he just kind of went down the list. I'm not sure how he's going to do this one. I was not able to do a driver's meeting with him. He kind of handled all that tonight. So we're just sitting here now waiting to see which guy is going out first. So just bear with us just for a minute as we're waiting to see. But yeah, I mean, Chuck, you hit the nail on the head. These cars have so much power. So much power goes to the rear wheels that throttle control is going to be the key tonight. So, I mean, that's going to be a topic that we discuss a lot tonight, is saving those tires, because like Matt said, there's no extra sets. You got what you got. What you start the race with is what you're going to finish the race with.
Yeah, and these are one of the oldest cars on a track or on a service, and this track is one of the oldest tracks on the service, and they are just still golden. They're just still so much fun to drive.
As it's looking like we may have Mr. Willie Evernham, driver number 19, going out on track first to try to see what type of lap he can put down. And like Chuck noticed earlier, if that last name looks familiar to you, it's because Willie Evernham's uncle is one of the founders and one of the most legendary crew chiefs in the side of NASCAR world. Mr. Ray Evernham is his uncle. So he comes out of turn 4 here. This will be, in fact, his first lap around. And man, oh man. So no, it counted that very first lap as a lap, folks. So that's something to notice right there. I was incorrect with that. So Willie went with a 16.0 first time around. Timing and scoring on the side's a little messed up right now, but it will sort itself out in just a second, maybe, possibly. Try this.
Yeah, that was a really short qualifying lap.
Yeah, so it's looking like that first lap around is the lap. I mean, that's what you get. But, I mean, that's what everybody gets, you know, so it is what it is. We have now Frank Barbary leaving the pits. I got to try to get him quick. There's a 29, so I'm going to pull up Mr. Willie Evernham. Just have a quick little word with him. Matt, I'll let you do the honor since it was so quick. We'll let you just throw your feet to the fire. You got Mr. Evernham in the booth with you now.
Mr. Evernham, how do you feel about that qualifying lap? Feel like it was any good?
Not really. You know, I didn't really get much practice, so you know, it's a little different car combination here with the track. So I'm just gonna ride around, have some fun, and hopefully put on a good show.
Willie, oh, sorry, Matt.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Were you expecting that short of a qualifying?
They kind of warned me about it. Josh came over and warned us about it, but I was just kind of going for it. He said go for it on the first lap, so we got 3, that'd be great. If not, I mean, we only get one good, clean flyer lap, so I don't know. We'll see where we end up. It's a little different than what I'm used to. I used to race here back in the day with the Bandoleros Summer Shootout, so it's kind of cool to do it in something different on a video game.
Right on, Willie. Now, I just wanted to touch base right then. So, are you getting 2 laps? Like, I noticed the out lap, that's considered the lap, right?
Yeah, the as soon as you leave the pits, that's your green flag lap. And your next full complete lap is your white flag lap.
Okay. So, that's kind of an error on our part. We didn't know that. So, I should have set it up for 3 laps. But, I mean, we live and we learn. Everybody has the same type of chance. And we'll get you back down to your race team. Congratulations on the qualifying, buddy. And maybe we'll be talking to you at the end.
Yeah, man. We'll just have some fun. See if we can get this 5 Kings of Motorsports number 19 Desired Image Dodge up front and see where we end up.
All righty, buddy. Thank you and good luck.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, Tanner, you brought up a good point, if I may. Even if you had given them that extra lap, what I'm noticing on a track that this short, you know, at our bigger tracks on the NASCAR circuit, sometimes people will intentionally do a wind-up lap or maybe a quote-unquote throwaway lap to warm the tires up to get a faster second lap. But in a track this short, you're not going to have the time to get the tires heated up or the motor wound up. So really, I would think that what you get is what you get on that first lap from what I'm observing.
You're exactly right, Chuck. I mean, that's the way it is. And everybody, they're playing the same sport right now, basically. Everybody has the same exact chance to get out there and put a lap down. You basically get 1 lap. So you got to try to clinch that wheel and swing for the fences, I guess we'll say. And I want to apologize for the ticker not showing correctly right now. So it did this on the last special event we did. Like, ooh, we see Brian Zimmerman actually make a mistake on his outlap. Now, that's not something you want to see in qualifying when you know you really only have one one opportunity to put a lap down. Have to see what he can do this next time around.
Right now, it looks like the 90 car, Trevor Catalano, I hope I said that right, is on the pole with a 15.319.
Okay. It will, I'm hoping, so what it did last time, after about 7 people qualified, it actually went correctly. Brian Zimmerman, second lap around, went top of the board right then with a 15.29, so he did find a little bit of speed that second lap around, so I'm going to pull him up, Mr. Pegleg, and I'll give you the honors. We'll wait for him to get adjusted in his car and get done with his lap. But yeah, that's a new post hitter right there, Brian Zimmerman, number 28. Just put it top of the board, and Mr. Pegleg, it's all you, buddy.
How you doing tonight, Brian? This is Chuck Pegleg up in the booth. How you doing?
Doing good, bud. How you doing today?
Doing well. So currently you're on the pole. I am probably the only one in the booth here that has zero short track experience. So just tell me, is your mindset a little bit different on your qual lap here versus how you're going to run your race? What is your strategy between the two, if there is a difference in strategy between doing your qual versus doing your racecraft during the race?
Yeah, there'll be a big difference. I'll take it easy. We got 125 laps in the main feature tonight, so it'll be kind of just surviving the last 40 or 50 laps here at this track. Really not one of my best tracks here. This is a pretty difficult track. I haven't really been able to find a groove on this track. Jumped in late on practice and didn't get a lot of practice laps in, so I'm planning the first for the feature just to try to hang back, get some practice in, and be ready for the end.
Sounds like good strategy. Just get a feel for it before the feature. And right now, it looks like Josh Sexton has exactly tied you at .291 for both of you. So good luck on hanging there. Fellas,
Thanks,
got
bud.
anything else?
We appreciate it. Looking forward to it. Thank y'all for broadcasting.
Yes, sir,
You're very
Brian.
welcome.
Good luck. Good luck to
Thanks,
you, Mr.
man.
Brian, and maybe that time will hold up for you. He's currently sitting P1.
I don't think it will, but we'll see.
All right then, buddy. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Good job, Mr. Pegleg. Now we're waiting for another driver to go out. Man, I hate when SDK messes up, but thank you, Chuck, for pointing out that Joshua Sexton and Brian Zimmerman have the exact same time right now. It's just Zimmerman got the luck of the draw, being able to go first. iRacing put him up ahead of him. So, I mean,
And you can help me, Tanner, on this. I'm not familiar on this part. I know when people don't qualify, like if they elect not to qualify, like if there's more than one, they will grid them based on their iRating levels.
Oh, yeah.
When cars are exactly tied, do they go by who went out first, or do they go by iRating? Do you know that?
Pegleg, I actually don't, but I would have to guess you are probably right. So, in that scenario, Brian Zimmerman edged out Joshua Sexton, right? And Zimmerman had a 48.83 iRating compared to Josh's 32.30. So, you may be on something right then. But man, oh man, we just saw that 44. He was actually going to be up in the booth with us. He's been begging me all day he wanted to race. So I said, yeah, go get him, Tiger. And he just put it top of the board with a 15.18. I'm not sure what that third number is, but still about a 10th, or is it about a 10th faster than his second place right now?
It's 182, Tanner.
Okay, 182. So I mean, that's a blistering fast lap around this little
That is
go-kart
pretty fast.
track, basically. I mean, just a go-kart track, really.
Yeah, and that's something else that I'm really excited about watching this. As I've already stated, my only short track is half miles and above on the NASCAR side of things. But you know, you guys just said it. It's basically a go-kart track that they have these beasts, comparatively speaking, on the same size track with a ton of horsepower, doing such a little itty-bitty track. I'm just excited to watch all these guys navigate this track with that kind of horsepower and weight in the car.
As Christian Pittman just put it top of the board now, and now I'm probably going to butcher this, but I know they have, I think, 750 horsepower, and I'm pretty sure they weigh 3,300 pounds, the same as a like an ARCA car or whatever. But they might be a little bit lighter. Somebody out in viewer land can let us know. But Christian J. Pittman just went top of the board. I'm just going to let us keep on rambling. We'll do interviews with some more drivers here in just a minute. But yeah, I mean, Chuck, it's going to be brutal tonight. I have a feeling. Just tough. Just going to be tough.
So within a short track, it's tough to pass. But even at the half miles on the NASCAR side, that's still a quarter mile bigger. So there's a little bit of maneuverability. I mean, you're talking a quarter mile here. That's what you run on a high school track. It's their quarter mile tracks. That's what they run track and field on. And now you're putting race cars on these things. Not a lot of time, not a lot of room.
Yeah, you just saw. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I believe these things are pushing more than 550 horsepower and they weigh about 2,800 pounds.
Okay, so I was way off. So thank you for that, Matt. So 550 horsepower, 2,800 pounds, correct?
Yeah.
That's still a lot, though.
That's a lot.
Still a beast compared to a go-kart.
Oh, absolutely. You see right there, 65, Cody Trantham. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. He actually just lit the rear tires up right then, and lost all grip whatsoever. So that's basically a thrown away lap right then. But we did see Brian Zimmerman do it earlier, and he was able to put it on the pole. Although now he's sitting in P4. So it looks like from fourth on down, if you look at the ticker to the left, that is correct. The top three names, I'm not sure why SDK is doing that, but it's no harm, no foul. We'll get through it as we. I think we like about three more guys after Mr. Tyler Catalano, number 64 machine, comes out here and tries to attack this very, very tough quarter mile high school track and field track. Basically, that was a very good point, Chuck.
Looks like on the iRacing ticker, the top three, if our viewers can't read the top three, is Pittman, Raymond, and Stevens currently.
Yeah, that's correct.
And now, what did Pittman in the number 14, what is his current time as he sits atop of the board?
He is at a 15,122.
Okay, and then Jason Raymond was a 182, if I remember correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, that if you go through the board and look at these times, there's not a whole lot of time difference between all these guys. They're all pretty much right there on top of each other. And as a broadcaster, that excites me. That means these guys are going to be right on top of each other. But as a race promoter, it scares me because then I know when we close up shop, Barney Fife Jr. waves that checker flag tonight, there's going to be some drivers with some hurt feelings probably, because accidents and mistakes happen when you are that close in this close quarter type battle racing the way we are here tonight. You put that many guys right on top of each other, something will eventually happen.
Oh, for sure. And on this short of a track, I mean, you're going to be in traffic whether lap down, the same lap. I mean, you're always going to be in traffic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about racecraft real quick. And this is, again, something that has always amazed me about accomplished short track racers is, yes, every style of track, there's racecraft involved, even the plate tracks or the road courses or your mile and a half. But it seems the shorter the track, in my opinion, all of the racecraft is involved. Wheel input, brake control, throttle control, patience, discipline, position on track, where some of those other racecraft factors may not be as prevalent as other style tracks. For example, a plate track, not a lot of braking. You do have to have throttle control and track awareness, etc., but not a lot of braking. But you get on these short tracks, you have to incorporate every aspect of racetrack to be accomplished and to get to the front. You have to put all of it together, in my opinion, and that's what I've observed. That you got to have the full package when you get to these short tracks.
You're exactly right, Chuck. As we just wrapped up qualifying, Chris Carroll was our fastest driver in practice, so that's why he went last. And you wouldn't be shocked if I tell you he was our fastest in qualifying as well. He was the only driver to break the 15-second barrier. He went with a 14.94. That's going to be a driver to watch. And now we're going to have a little 15-lap heat race whenever Josh does advance the session. top 4 in qualifying, they automatically make it to the main event. All these drivers are going to make it, but they make it without ever even having to mess with the heat race, we'll call it. I'm going to actually pull up Mr. Chris Carroll right now. I'm going to have a quick little word with him as he put that number 99 on the front row after qualifying. Chris Carroll, you got Tanner, Chuck, and Matt in the booth. You got a copy?
I get a copy, Tanner Moore.
So, Chris, you were the big man on the totem pole at the end of practice. You earned the right to go last, so you got to see the laps everybody put down. You put it on the pole. You was the only driver to break the 15-second mark. Talk me through what you did with qualifying to be about 2/10 faster than the rest of your competitors tonight.
2/10. Wow. This is a place that's real slick. We got a lot of horsepower. We got a lot of weight going around a track that should be raced with bicycles, I think.
Right.
But that car is real slick, and that's my kind of track, though. You know, it's tough out there.
I mean, it's going to be brutal, and now you do know there's a invert coming for the feature race, so you know that 99 is going to be starting in the back of the pack. What do you got to do in order to find yourself up front after a 125, 150 lap race here tonight?
I think you just got to keep it clean. Stay out of trouble, which is going to be tough to do at this place with different braking points, different places where everyone gets back on the gas, and we're going to have different tire wear. And I think we only get one set, so some guys are going to use it up. Some guys are going to be braking in different places all over the place with different tire wear. So it's going to be ugly out there, and you just got to try and keep the fenders off it and go chase down one of them guys that's leading.
Right on, brother. That's driver number 99 USA Firearms black car here tonight, giving me Dale Earnhardt vibes. Hopefully, you can make the Intimidator proud, starting in the back at a little quarter-mile track here. Pegleg said it best. He said, y'all are basically racing on a high school track and field tonight.
Yeah, it's an ice rink out there, so it after 20 laps, everyone's going to be slipping and sliding around, and should be some fun out there as long as you can keep the car clean.
Alrighty, Miss Chris, we'll get you back down to your race team, brother. Going to have a little 15-lap shootout for the guys that qualified 5th on back, and then we'll get to the feature race. Congratulations on your pole, $10 richer, and then maybe we'll be talking to you at the end.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to give him help.
Thank you, buddy. All right, I just got word from race control. He did say they're going to give them about 2 minutes to let drivers get back if they needed to go use the bathroom, get a drink, maybe go feed the horses. Who knows? You never know. But getting ready to be heat racing, boys.
Well, that was the past 2 minutes because this session just got advanced.
Yeah, he actually sent me that like 4 minutes ago. So he said as soon as the last qualifier finishes, he was going to go 2 minutes in advance. So I just relayed the message really late. But it's looking like Cody Trantham, driver number 65, we saw him break loose earlier. He's actually going to be the point dog right now, starting P1 on that inside lane. And that inside lane is going to be vital all night tonight. You're going to want to be nowhere else but that inside lane when it comes to these restarts.
Well, for my partners, being the newbie here, both in broadcasting as well as short track knowledge, maybe you can help me out on what to maybe look for. My question for y'all is, as we are on the bigger tracks that we run on the NASCAR side of the house, the track could change. It could get rubbered up, or you may change your line. With it being so short and wheeling these beasts around the track, will a driver need to maybe adjust his line as little as it might be for such a short track, or is that something that, with it being so small, that you can't even really adjust your line even if you wanted to? Help me out there, fellas. What should I be looking for, maybe any sort of adjusting to the track?
I'm not sure you'll see them adjusting their lines so much as maybe adjusting their brake and throttle. They're going to be working that brake and throttle a lot. But as far as lines, there really is only one line around this track.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Shortest way around.
Yep. So the most similar track to this would be a track like Martinsville. And now, Chuck, you realize, like on these restarts and all that, you want to be on that bottom. And these guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some guys tonight putting them left sides even in the grass tonight. I mean, they're gonna try to cut this track and make this track as small as possible, and that's saying something because it's already really, really small.
I got to tell you, fellas, I'm super excited. When I logged in and realized what this track was all about, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is going to be awesome."
It's going to be a good show, and I'm noticing the 65 out front is starting to blink a little bit. So if you're them drivers behind him, that's something you got to be aware of. And also, excuse me, no cautions tonight for the heat race. Now there will be cautions in the feature event, but for the heat race, no cautions. If you wreck, you better get that thing turned around. Try to get the best finish you can, because there is an invert coming. So you might see people try to go to the back. So maybe they get the invert gods to take care of them, or you may go out here and try to win the $10. Right now, we got Mr. Frank Barbary on the outside row number 1, Cody Trantham inside row number 1. Tyler Carolina is going to be rolling off in P3 with Willie Abraham's P3 with Tyler Carolina in 4th place, but it don't matter. The horses are off now. 65 got a great jump there. You see the 29 actually get in there a little soft. Willie was not prepared for that. Gave him a little nudge going in turn 1.
Yeah, the 51 got pushed to the outside in the first turn.
It's basically going to be get in where you fit in at this point. Get in exactly where you think you can fit in. There's going to be too much action to call on this track, so we will miss stuff tonight. That's just the way it's going to be.
Well, with really only one set of tires, not that they want to give up track position, do you take it a little bit easy in the heat race here just to save as much rubber as possible? Because obviously grip is going to be terribly important too. So do you kind of not show your hand, so to speak, right off the bat?
I think you are spot on with that, Chuck. And then I've seen, we're going to have calamity right here. Scotty Stevens had nowhere to go, and Trevor Catalano got himself a little loose. But the good thing is for Scotty, this is just a heat race, so no harm, no foul. As far as the tires go, Chuck, I don't think iRacing will force them to. So the tires they're using right now,
29's around.
Oh, Frank Barber's went around too. I don't believe the tires they're on right now is the tires they're going to run the race on. Now, I could be wrong in that assessment, but I'm pretty sure they will all get fresh tires. But speaking about the tires, I'm seeing a lot of lockups in the front tire. They're locking them wheels up as they're going into the corners, and that's going to do nothing but flat spot them tires. And before you know it, you're going to have basically a really, really, really bad left front, right front if you keep locking them front tires up.
Right. Well, I wonder, with what I'm seeing already, a lot of tire lockup, I wonder if guys are already considering, if they haven't already physically done it in their cockpits, if after this heat race, if they are going to make brake bias adjustments and or as the race goes on.
Absolutely. I think that, like Matt mentioned earlier, I think at brake bias dial, it's going to be these drivers' best and only friend tonight. Because to win this race, you got to take care of your equipment. And to take care of your equipment, the number one piece of that tonight is going to be tires. And then the number 2 on that is going to be your brakes.
Because as you guys both know, even on the 1.5 miles, as tires wear down and the grip level goes away, even on the 1.5 miles, drivers manipulate their brake bias, even on the 1.5 miles, much less this track and field here. That's what I think I'll call it, this track and field.
Yeah, I mean, that's spot on. That is spot on. As we're seeing, the leader is currently checked out, but if you look at the fastest lap times, Brian Zimmerman is on the move, but he has a 19 right there in front of him. He's trying to set up a pass. You see him. He's going to the grass right there. Now, Willie, I don't think Willie's going to like that too much. That's basically going out of bounds. And there you see a crossover move, and man, oh man, the race is going to be hot and heavy all night tonight.
That was a nice crossover. I've been watching this 6 car in the back end. He seems like a man on a mission.
That is Tyler Catalano right there. So he's showing his number 64 on the side of his car. But man, he's getting loose.
Ooh, Yeah, he just got a little loose there.
It's just going to be a battle of who can get to the inside as the final lap is out. Let's see where Cody's at on track. Cody's bringing that number 65 out of turn number 4. He just won himself $10 for winning the heat race on tonight's event. As we're getting ready, there's a 5-minute warm-up period that iRacing forces you to put in here if you do heat race formats. But I do believe Sexton will advance that. I hope he does at least.
Let me check.
I wrote him in a text message. Matt, if you're able to even talk, are you logged in as a driver?
I am on. Yes, you can see it.
If somebody could just speak to him and tell him to advance the session. Because we've got drivers actually electing to go out there and warm up. I don't.
Well, what I was going to say, when I have been in league, sometimes I don't bother after qualifying. I don't always, in fact, seldom do I take advantage of the 5-minute warm up, because I figure, well, you know, I qualified, I got what I got, I've already done practice. 5 minutes isn't going to make or break me either way. However, having run that heat race, I personally might take advantage of the warm up to, okay, that brake bias wasn't working. Maybe I wanted to go up or down on it and use this 5-minute warm up to adjust maybe throttle or brake bias adjustment.
I agree. That's very, very smart. So I'm sure one of the drivers that we are seeing out on track right now, I'm hoping that's what they're doing, because this is like a free little test session right here, right before you go to race.
Absolutely. It's a free test session. You've already got a little bit of data, not much, but clearly at a track of this nature, any bit of data can help. And you're absolutely right, Tanner. This is a last minute, you know, cram for that test. Like, oh, I should have studied longer, but I got a little bit of time before teacher comes in and cram for this test.
I'm noticing as these guys are going by, you look inside their wheels. Some of them are kind of hard to see. We can see Scotty Stevens right there. If you look inside their wheels, you're going to see something red in there, folks. That's the brake rotors glowing from all the pressure. And now typically you see that on the front tires. You very, very rarely see it on the back tires. So that tells me these drivers are really, really hard on the brakes tonight. So that brings the question, will brake fade come into the equation tonight? It very possibly could. So if these drivers are that hard on the brakes this early in the race, will them brakes be worth anything by the time this race is finished tonight?
Yeah, you can burn them up.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I always wondered about that when I was first into iRacing. Obviously, iRacing does not simulate, you know, exploding calipers or rotors or anything of that nature, complete brake failure. However, after doing research and talking to other more long-time members, iRacing does, in fact, simulate, replicate, or whatever, the heat of the brakes. So they do need to take into account, they gotta, just like you preserve your tire wear and maybe not overdrive tires and abuse your tires, you can definitely abuse your brakes in this simulator. So they will need to take that into account as well.
Exactly. So a lot of oval drivers, they say it's a myth that brake fade is not a real thing. And
It is a real thing.
It's absolutely a real thing. We just don't experience it very much in the oval side because we're never really that hard on the brakes like they will be on road course racing and stuff of that sort, you know. But tonight, on a track like this, you are going to be so hard on the brakes that you definitely will interview a driver. If there's a caution, we will bring drivers up and have a word with them. There definitely will be at least one driver complaining tonight about the brakes. As we're going to, we're going to go into the grid right now. So Mr. Pegleg, he joined in as a driver. No harm, no foul. It's actually going to be Scotty Stevens starting on inside row number 1. Frank Barbary starting second. I'm just going to go down the list. Joshua Sexton, Tyler Catalano, Trevor Catalano, Brian Zimmerman starting P7, Willie Abraham rolling off in P8, Cody Trantham, driver number 65, saw him have a little bit of trouble during his qualifying attempt. But man, oh man, he checked out once the heat race started. The number 65 is going to be the driver to watch here tonight. And then starting to his outside, rounding out our top 10 here tonight, Jason Raymond representing Five Kings Motorsports, driver number 44. He's going to try to do what he can to get that machine up front. Then we have the driver from Runts Racing, Alex Coffey, in the number 7. He's going to be rolling off in P11. Alex always has his mom watching, Kelly Coffey. She is definitely in the chat right now. If I had to go look, she said something. She said, "Can you say Wreckfest?" Kelly Coffey, I knew you'd be here, baby. Love seeing it. Love seeing it. So, and then we got the 12 of Christian Pittman, or the 14 of Christian Pittman starting 12th, excuse me. And then you're going to have Chris Carroll firing off in P12. So, going to be an interesting night here, folks. Thank y'all for tuning in. I will ask y'all if you would, as that pace truck makes one more lap around this very, very short track and field track, if you would, slap a like on the YouTube video. It helps out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. You might think, well, my like ain't going to matter. I promise you, they all add up and they all make us smile. We thank y'all for the support. Chuck, Matt, I want to thank y'all both wholeheartedly for coming out. It's going to be a good time. We're getting ready to go. Green Flag Racing, boys.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yep, thanks. And I'll real quick professionally apologize to Five Kings, you, Tanner, and our viewers for the administrative error on my part.
And the 90s around already.
Yep, and that's going to be a caution flag already. You got to be careful out here, folks. And Chuck, you have nothing to apologize for. You've been spot on, as spot on could be. I'm super happy to have you in here with me. Let's go back and try to see. I think he just had drivers getting in a little hot right here. Maybe not knowing.
Looked like 65 got a little hot in that corner.
Oh my goodness, where is he going? So it looked like Cody may have thought we were on the big track right then. It looked like he did not know when to slow down right then. He came in really hot in that 65. Keep your eye on the 65 here. Narrowly misses the 28, and then
He just took the 45 out.
yep. I mean,
You know, maybe some pre-race jitters too, trying
Absolutely.
to do what you could get on the start, and just misjudged.
yep, just misjudged it and got in there a little hot. But that's going to be something to watch on these restarts, because you need to get everything you possibly can on these restarts. Try to get every position possible. And that's just what we were seeing right then. I mean, maybe he made a mistake, or maybe he was trying to go in there and pick off maybe one or two drivers in one corner. Guys, if you can pass two drivers on a restart, that's huge. I mean, that is huge. Once you get single filed out, it's going to be really hard to pass here.
He definitely had a run going there, but
Yeah.
when you got a car on your inside, it's a little harder to slow down and get down.
Right. I mean, he had a car on his inside, car on his outside, car in front of him, behind him. I think that was just a mistake right there. But still, Frank Barbary out front in the number 29. He's sitting top dog. Got the number 2 right there behind Scotty Stevens. And then at number 64, he's a Catalano brother. We saw Trevor get sent around in the 45 right then. But that 64, Tyler Catalano is sitting 3rd. Joshua Sexton's 4th. And then Brian Zimmerman, number 28, is sitting 5th. I want to let the folks know at home, if the Catalano name looks familiar to y'all. I was watching NBCSN one night, late night, it was about midnight, was watching something to go to sleep, and saw Modified Racing on. Started watching it. Well, I seen Tyler Catalano, Trevor Catalano, Amy Catalano, Timmy Catalano. Apparently the whole Catalano family is really, really big. Like, we're talking big time in modified racing up in the Northeast. So just Google the Catalano name, and it blew me away. I raced with him for about 6 months on here, and they never once mentioned it. So then after I saw that, I wrote either Tyler or Trevor, one of the two, and he was like, yeah, that's us. And I was like, dude, y'all are as big time comes. As single file, sorry, I was still talking, single file restart here, as Frank gets a decent jump, but Scotty does as well, and you see them, they're side by side for 3rd place. Man, it's just too much action going on tonight. It's going to be too hard to call it all.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, that's for sure.
Mr. Pegleg, if you're out here in this mix, what do you do right now? Like, oh, we see the 65 actually going around.
There he goes.
Uh, you know, I knew, you know, Tanner, I knew you were going to ask me that. For me, and with my lack of experience here, if you were to put me in the race right now, I would just be trying to watch, learn, and observe of what the more skilled drivers are doing or are not doing. And I would watch my aggression level, but that's at my skill level. If I was more accomplished, I think I would try and get cautiously aggressive and get what I could get, because the tires are definitely going to wear. So it depends if I had experience or not. Again, if you were to put me on track, I would, since it's a longer race, at the beginning, I would try and watch and learn and see the do's and don't do's. If I did have experience, I believe because of tire wear, I would try and get what I could get at the beginning, because the tires ain't going to get any better.
Right, they're just going to get worse, and that's pretty spot on. So you would have the chill approach to try to see what's happening around you, but then once it was time to go, we'd be ready to go. And right now we have Scotty Stevens. He's currently sitting second, firing off right there behind Frank Barbary. Scotty, this is Tanner Martin at Booth. You got a copy?
No, I got you.
So it looks like there's a few drivers out here, Scotty, that doesn't have it reined in exactly yet. They're going 110%. What's it going to take for you to keep at number 2 up front here for the rest of this race?
Manage the tires and situational awareness. It's really easy to overdrive these turns. You're going to see people get run over all night, just giving it too much and overshooting the corner entry.
Is it we just watched the number 65 just break completely loose. He was actually out of the corner already, got full throttle and broke loose. Is the set still kind of snapping on exit?
Yeah, too much throttle input on exit. You'll definitely spin it around there.
Alrighty, Scotty. I see the lights are off on the pace truck. We'll get you back down to your race team. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks.
So you heard it in his voice. He said, oh yeah, you got too much throttle and you're going to loop it. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, these tires are still cold too, and until they warm up, you're not going to get any grip.
And these heat cycles that they're getting right now. And what we mean by heat cycles, as the green flag is out, 29 gets a great jump. And heat cycle. So they get a few laps in, get a little bit of heat in them, then a caution comes out. And that just cools them tires right back down. And if you do that over and over and over, you're actually hurting them tires more than what you would think you were helping them by letting them cool down. We're seeing drivers go everywhere in the back. I think just a checkup right there. Nope.
90's over.
Oh!
Twice now, the 51 had great wreck avoidance in one lap. So 51 did a good job. I know he's not, he's kind of mired back there. Great job twice in one short lap. He had great wreck avoidance. So good car control.
Yeah, that 90 car, he got hit twice and flipped over.
Did he? I missed it. I was trying to find it. My telltale box was going crazy, so let's see if it actually showed. Oh, no. See? It's not going to show me. But, I mean, we see the aftermath right then. Ooh, Frank Barb actually came around and did that driver a favor. He didn't. That 45 did not have to tow right then, folks. That's huge for the 45.
I wonder if he got on the comms and said, hey, can somebody flip me back over so I don't have to tow?
If you look at Frank Barb right then, it didn't look like Frank meant to hit him. It looked like Frank was coming around there just doo-dah, and then boom, had a car right there in front of him. As we're going to cockpit cam, he sees him right there. Oh no, he's trying to avoid that driver. He was trying to avoid him, but did him a grade A solid right then. But man, oh man, that 90-45 or whatever you want to call it, that thing is destroyed.
It was pretty hard. It looked like the 65 come in and turned the 14, and the 14 came down the track and hit him, rolled him.
The good news is for that 90, we'll keep the camera on 45, whatever. Good news is for the 45, he does have a fast repair right here. So we'll keep an eye on him and take a look and see real quick to see if he does indeed use that fast repair. Yes, I mean, to be flipped over and then flip back on your wheels by something that is basically not even in your control, That's a straight up mulligan right then. So you have a do over. If I'm that driver, I'm just chilling now. I mean, my race is done, you know, so I'm just chilling.
Let me ask either one of you. Again, no super late model experience here. Obviously, body damage. This is a non-aero track. However, you do need to be aware of your grill for engine and water oil temps. But what is the normal RPMs for these cars?
They auto at 1800, Chuck. So
Okay, all
tip,
right.
typically these cars are tanks everywhere except their front end. The slightest bit of front end damage will really hurt them cars. You see the 99 actually get turned a little bit, but straightens it up. But you got to be really careful when it comes to any type of front end damage, as the number 2 just made a power move around Frank Barbary. And you know, Frank has a little bit of front end damage, and it looks like that driver may be going backwards right now. He is going backwards right now. And I heard my voice cut out right then, too. I promise you I'm 28. I don't know why my voice cracked right then. As you see, Zimmerman, number 28. Another caution. I wish these boys would get together.
Caution is out.
Let's go back and see what happened.
I didn't see that one.
7 looks like the number 7 just got in hard and it got in the rear end. But you know what?
Oh, that 51 got loose.
Yeah, but Alex Coffey helped him out a little bit, but still.
To me, it almost looked like the 51 might have had a different brake point, and maybe it got off the throttle or started braking a little sooner, and the number 7 was not prepared for the same brake point.
You're exactly right, Chuck, and I'm actually going to pull the number 7 of Alex Coffey up in the booth. Alex, Tanner Marr in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
So, Alex, it's been calamity out there. We've seen drivers going 3 wide on the start and everything. What's it going to take in order for this field to kind of settle in and start clicking off some laps?
I'm not sure. Pretty much lifting at the flag stand to try to keep out of the back of people, and somehow it's still happening. So I guess just surviving is pretty much the name of this game.
It's going to be a battle of attrition. That's why I was going to ask you what happened right then. Basically just different break points?
I guess you could say that. I don't know.
You're clueless, huh?
Sure.
Clueless.
Yeah, I don't know why we were lifting that early, but
I got you.
you know, I got in the back of them, so it's on me.
I got you. But I'm thinking.
Definitely didn't expect it. Sorry.
Right. I mean, you could tell it wasn't on purpose. It just is what it is. You know, short track. Stuff's going to happen. Now, Alex, you race Legends in a track very similar to this, Atlanta, and you may even race on this track. I can't remember. Did iRacing do a good job in replicating this track in terms of real life, how these Legend ovals are?
Oh yeah, with it being as intense as it is every lap, I would say they did a pretty good job. I never really raced at Charlotte in real life. I raced more at Atlanta, but Atlanta is pretty much picture perfect to what it is. So I could say this one's probably about the same.
So is Atlanta similar to this one, or is it a little bit different, Coffee?
It's pretty much the regular. I would say it's the same, but a racing I would say what turns are wider, straightaways are shorter.
10-4 Coffee. All right, we'll get you back down to your race team. Good luck, buddy. And the driver number 7, Alex Coffey. Good luck to you.
10-4, appreciate it.
All right, boys. We're going to try it one more time. Lap number 28 of 150. I'm feeling a good green flag run coming. They just got to get stretched out a little bit, single filed out, and a little give and take has to be showed tonight.
It's like Scotty Stevens said, though, Tanner, is talking about patience, but that's one of the biggest oxymorons in racing. We're racers, whether real life, sim racers, you know, even Xbox video games, whatever you want to call it. If racing, it's not the mentality to race. I don't care if it's horse racing. You want to go fast, and it's such a oxymoron. It's sort of like go slow to go fast, you know, and it's not in our DNA to be patient and to slow down and go fast, especially on a short track. So I think that in-race discipline you really, really have to have. And any track, but especially a short track, I think of everything. I think in race patience and discipline is going to be key as well.
You're exactly right. So we had a pretty bad race. Ooh, like maybe slight contact right then. We had a pretty bad race last Saturday night in the truck series, and I had a guy ask me. I'm the owner of the league, you know, but then I'm also the broadcaster, so I gotta almost step away from the owner of the league part when I'm live. I think we had like 14 cautions, guys, and the guy asked me. He said, "How do you keep your cool up in the broadcast booth when that's going down?" And I say basically what you just said right then. Yes, I want drivers to show patience, but we're racing out here. We're not on interstate.
Absolutely.
We're not on the interstate, you know. We are trying to get as much as we can every lap possible. And in order to run up front, you have to be on that ragged edge. And every now and then, you might step over that ragged edge, and that's what we're seeing tonight. I mean, there's people that's kind of stepped too far across the boundaries, and then you have a caution. And early in the race, I think everybody's just trying to gauge what that boundary is.
Oh, 45
Did you
was,
see
or 90 was
45?
up in the wall.
I did know. Yeah, the 45 sort of did a little skateboard on the wall. Good job on reining it back in, though.
Yeah, he's been fighting his 65 for quite a few laps now.
No, and we know that 65 can be aggressive. That 45 is as well, so there might be fireworks to come between this battle. But I'm actually seeing that the outside lane can hang a little bit. Ooh, the 65 just drives it off in there like he drove it off a cliff right then, guys, and took that position over. The 45 will not take kindly to being roughed up like that, though, as he attempts to crossover move. They're drag racing down the front stretch.
Yeah, and to key in on that conversation, racing is a pretty selfish sport. I mean, you have
Absolutely.
teammates, but those are just for points, really. When it comes
Right.
to a win, it's your driver.
So we pride ourselves in Five Kings Motorsports. We've had a few in-team wrecks, but not many. I mean, not very many at all. We pride ourselves on a team win is better than any solo win, right? But then, like you just said, the last 20 laps, I want to beat Joshua Sexton, Scotty Stevens, and all them. I want to beat them worse than I want to beat Matt Rogers, Chuck Pegwood Phelps, anybody, you know? So, teammates are good, but they can also be a headache at times.
Again, it's that's and you know, sometimes when you're in a playoff format, you think about big picture, but you know, a top 5 is better than a top 30, but then if you're on the top 5, it's like, man, that win is right there.
Right,
So
right.
again, it's the discipline of racing, because any form of racing, what I like to call, it's the spirit of racing. If you know, even back in the Roman chariot days, you want to win. If you're racing one other competitor, the goal is to be across that finish line first, and especially if it's in your grasp. But it's so hard sometimes to have in-race discipline and patience. When you know, you hear people talk about big picture points, big picture, get to the next round. Well, yeah, top 5 is better than a top 20. But then again, if you run a top 5, you're like, oh my God, it's right there. I want that win. Because
Right.
it's that spirit of racing.
And you know, there's an old cliche saying about racing. 99% of the time, the fastest car don't win these races. And you know why? Chuck just said right then, discipline, racecraft. And that all comes into play. Just because you have the fastest car does not automatically shoe you in as the victor that night. And now we say that, and then we have we have Chris Carroll driving the number 99, put it on the pole, had to start in the back, using lap traffic as a pick for him right now, going inside. We have a battle for the race lead right now, as it wasn't really much of a battle. 99 just drove it off in there and stole it.
Well, he definitely took advantage of that situation.
Yes, he did. But you know, that was racecraft right then. That he had the awareness and wherewithal. He saw what was happening on his windshield, and he took advantage of it.
Trevor Catalano is taking it to the pits.
Yep, I clicked on his name, and he is no longer there. So
So the Catalanos, what is the relation? Is that brothers, cousins, father, son? I'm new to well, obviously broadcasting, but
Mine's off. Or the two car. I'm sorry.
So, I'm pretty sure Chuck, Tyler, and Trevor are brothers, I think. But now there's a Timmy out there too. and I'm not sure all the relations. I know two of them are brothers. I think the two we have here tonight. So we have Tyler Catalano, number 64. He's still here, and then Trevor Catalano was the 45. I think he's already parked it and put it on the hauler. I think they are brothers, but Mr. Ray Evernham's not going to be happy because Tattletale Box is showing me that Willie Evernham has went around. Let's go back and see.
Oh, he come out that corner and went right up in the wall.
Oh, the car just don't turn. What about that? That was insane. We're going to have to go back and go cockpit cam right then, folks. The car just did not turn right then.
Maybe he had a little bit of that brake failure we were talking about.
Yeah,
Earlier.
look at him. Look at him. He has that wheel cranked and just no type of grip. No grip. It just going straight.
Well, how again, I feel like, you know, I'm getting a lot of information from y'all. How durable are these SLMs? And by durable, I mean, like the other night in my cup race, I got doored, and it wasn't Indian race debilitating. Not a lot of damage, but enough damage that on, I think, a lap 35 out of 133, my steering and my toe was destroyed. And for 100 laps, I was just having to manhandle that and really work it. The other night, it was in a cup car, so different physics, different dynamics on that car. So how durable are these SLMs? Because there is a lot of beating and bacon. So are guys getting some toe or steering, suspension banged up here, or are they different?
Now, like we saw Willie Evernham hit the wall right then, Chuck, you got to really be careful when it comes to the right front, left front. The rest of these cars are basically tanks. Their bodies, I mean the rear bodies, the side of the bodies, that's okay. But when you start messing with the wheels and the suspension, you're playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette. So you absolutely can knock a toe out. I've seen it happen with as little of contact as a 0X have the toe knocked out. As we're seeing, it looks like our race leader right here, Chuck, is electing to take the outside. I'm not exactly sure.
That's surprising me.
If maybe he thinks he can get a better launch off, but man, I don't want to contend with that guy on my inside going into turn one at all. Oh, he fires early. He said, I'm not even going to let it. Yeah, he ain't going to let it even be up for a chance. He just drove it up in there, and so did Scotty Stevens in the two. Man, oh man, he went off in there deep, lost a spot because of it. And he may help the 7 go around, but the 7 saves it. My, oh my.
That's a heck of a save.
That was. Coffee was just willing that machine. He's very accustomed to these tracks. He raced in the Legend Series and was actually, I've watched some of his videos. Alex Coffey was really, really good in the Legend cars, and those cars don't have a lot of grip, so I'm sure he was accustomed to sliding around on a little track like this, and he just put it into play.
Dirt tracking.
Yep. Exactly. It might be Chris Carroll's time to walk away from the field, guys. And I don't want to say that for an entertainment standpoint, but we saw him have the fastest lap in practice. Then he topped that with the fastest lap in qualifying. Had to start in the back, and now he's worked his way up to the top dog spot. As I'm seeing, oh no, Coffee was just blinking. Chuck, good point right here. You asked what their bodies are like. Look at the right side of Coffee's car right here in number 7. It's pretty beat up. You know, it's pretty beat up, but no harm, no foul to the front. He's still pulling forward.
Sure.
Yeah, that 99 is definitely fast, and he had to work his way up and be patient through this whole race, so he might just take it.
And you know, that's impressive if you look back on his car right here as we go in the rear chase camera mode here. He started in the very back. There's not a lot of cars out here that does not have some damage on their nose. This 99 looks like it just came off out of the paint booth. I mean, it looks clean as clean can be. As we're going to go back here to the 4th and 5th place spot. Scotty Stevens was running up front, but he got into trouble and not been able to climb out of it. As we're now on lap number 65 of 150. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. And again, I want to thank Mr. Pegleg, Chuck Phelps for coming on board, and Matt Rogers, late minute additions. They come up in here and help me in the booth. We do appreciate that.
Oh, I love watching these races.
You know, a part of me wish we had about 10 more guys out here. But then a part of me is like, no, what are you thinking? No, we don't need more extra guys out here. But I like the beating and banging of racing. I don't like it if somebody wrecks somebody. But I think a little bumping within reason. And now, what is the fine line of reason? I don't know. We don't know that answer, you know? But just a little beating and banging, no harm, no foul. I think it's good for the sport. But I don't want to see anybody go out here and flat out dump nobody, obviously.
I'm going to call it right now, and this is complete inexperience with this style of racing, but I'm not so sure watching Scotty Stevens that he's not just riding along a little bit, not putting a lot of heat in the tires, just kind of riding out some laps here, because we saw him earlier, and I'm wondering if he's just kind of in, like a better term, chill mode, not getting the brake fade, not heating the tires with the brakes up, and just kind of just chilling. That's my call at the moment.
So we
saw him earlier.
We just went cockpit cam, Chuck. I'm sorry to interrupt you right there, but we went into Scotty's cockpit, and he's really not manhandling the car. Yeah,
he's smooth on his input.
Right, he's turning the wheel a lot, but I mean, let's face it, folks. They go from about 90 miles per hour to almost a hairpin-like turn. I mean, it's about as sharp of a turn as you're going to see on a racetrack. So they do have to have a lot of wheel input into it. And so, Chuck, I think you may be onto something right there, because Scotty's brakes are not glowing red. Now, we talked about the brake rotors. They're almost like an orange-looking color.
Yeah, they're not red, and that's exactly why I brought that up. That's exactly, Tanner, what I was noticing. I was looking at some of the other brake rotors. His gets a little orange, but they're not molten lava red,
right?
You know, and I see how his wheel input is smooth. Yes, as you said, there's going to be some significant wheel input, but it's smooth. And although we got into it there a little bit in the back, but I think he's just in chill mode.
And now we're going to re-rack him. Looks like the other Catalano brothers went around. That's Tyler Catalano. I'm not even sure what number he's shown as. The number 64, perhaps?
Yes, he's shown as a 64. He is
right.
a 6.
And if you excuse me real quick, fellas, I have technical difficulty. I will be right back.
All right, Chuck. We'll be holding down the fort. Good luck. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, I just got to fix something. Bear with me. Thanks.
I think Alex Coffey went around as well, y'all. I'm not exactly sure. As I say y'all like a redneck.
I can go look for you.
No, he didn't. He slowed down for the incident right then. Oh, he had to let the pace car by. Okay. Sorry, I'm just a dummy. He just slowed down and let the pace car by. So right now, Matt, Chris Carroll, P1. Brian Zimmerman sitting second. Alex Coffey sitting third. If I was to say, all right, Matt, $100 now, who's tonight's winner? Who do you got?
I think I'm gonna go with that 99 as long as he can keep it up front and keep it clean.
What a surefire bet right there. Don't go out on too much of a limb there, Matt.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. As long as he can keep it out in the open, he'll be all right. If he gets in traffic, it could all change.
A little fun fact for y'all, because I know y'all haven't called. Well, Matt, you've called one other Crooked Line race, but that 28 and 99, they're teammates. So if you don't think they're working together on these restarts, you're mighty fine wrong, because they are for sure working together to try to get Zimmerman safe into second. And now, when I said a while ago, because it looks like Chris Carroll's taking the high side once again, I think that's by design. I think he knows Zimmerman's not going to race him into turn one.
It would seem by design, because you normally wouldn't take the inside or the outside line
right
on a restart.
Right. Now, Matt, you've been fairly quiet tonight. I'm gonna let you call this restart right here, brother. You got the mic. It's all you.
All right, and they're off, and I can't see who's up front. It looks like the 99, and the 7's gonna bust up underneath him on the 29.
So you got the 7 jumping in on Brian Zimmerman. So that little plan the teammates had up front has been spoiled right now. It's always hard when you come. Is it caution out?
I believe caution's out.
I don't think so. Not yet, at least. Don't jinx us.
Oh my.
Don't jinx us. But so it's always hard calling these other league races. So when Apex was doing, y'all were doing recruitment races during the league, like during the season, you start to know numbers, you know who everybody is. But bringing you and Chuck in, there's nothing harder than calling a race where you know nobody. You know, so it's really, really tough. So kudos to y'all for doing as good a job as what y'all doing. And thank y'all once again for tuning in. If you're at home in viewerland right now, Chris Carroll's out front, got Alex Coffey, driver number 7, Runts Racing, Get Money Machine right there behind him. $30 up for grabs. If you could, slap that like button for us. It helps out a ton.
All right, fellas, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Good to have you back with us, Chuck. Got a shake-up for the second place spot. Alex Coffey went up there and saw an opening, and he took it.
I see that. I looked at the standings before I left. I'm actually, not to interrupt the broadcast, I am babysitting a friend's cat. I love cats. I like all animals, but just about had a disaster. This cat likes all the equipment and computers and cords and stuff.
Oh.
It's not used to it and almost had a disaster, so I had to take care of the cat.
What kind of cat is it, Chuck? Do you know? Is it like a tomcat, a calico?
No, it's actually my favorite breed of cat. It is a Maine Coon. It's
Okay.
about 9 months old, so the whole proverbial. Oh, we got a caution.
Caution's out. Gosh.
So,
Yeah, 6 car, I believe.
man, the Catalanos have had a rough night. So, Chuck, I don't want to hijack the broadcast, but
No, you're fine. You're fine.
my fiance is into cats, right? And we started out with 2. Okay, no harm, no foul, you know. But they like the computer, it's warm, you know, so they like to lay on top of it.
Yep.
So sadly, we had to put them outside. I don't like cats being outside. I don't know. I guess I'm a softie. But we put them outside. Well, Chuck, that 2 quickly turned into we have 7 cats outside that we don't know whose they are. Our cats never had babies, so we don't know where they came from. But we feed them all. So it costs us about $60 a week feeding our cats. So I'm a cat person too, I guess you would say. So that's pretty cool to hear that. As we go back
that's
here.
exactly what it was. It was trying to get on the computer because it's nice and warm and
Right.
et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Now you see another self-spin getting bit by the self-spin bug. I mean, it's probably not going to be the last time we see it right there.
Looks like Tyler Catalano went down pit road. He might have got his fast repair.
Okay. He's shown as light blue to me, so typically that means he's a lap down. Oh, he is 2 laps down, guys.
Yes, he's 2 laps down.
That's going to be something to watch. And I've noticed some of our heavy hitters, so Chuck mentioned this earlier, especially if the lights are on. Some of our heavy hitters, which I know y'all are typically not here, Christian Pittman won the championship 2 seasons ago. Chris Carroll won last season. Some of our heavy hitters, Joshua Sexton, Jason Raymond, Frank Barb, they're all at the back right now. So I wonder if what Chuck was mentioning earlier, maybe they're playing chess, everybody else is playing checkers, and they're just saving their equipment.
Yeah, I'm gonna reiterate that too. I like how Scotty Stevens, for the most part, clearly he's fast. We saw him earlier, and I think Scotty's in chill mode. That is my opinion. Again, I don't have a big frame of reference here with this style, but just from what little I do know, I'm watching how he's running his race. Hope he doesn't make a liar out of me right now, but I think he's just in chill mode. Not going to get too far back and lose touch, but not willing to throw all the chips on the table just left, because we still got some racing left.
Absolutely. I mean, we still got over 50 laps to go, and now I do want to put the point out there, though. Yes, there is over 50 laps to go, but these laps, they just broke off, what, a 10-minute green flag run. And it was like 60 laps right then, you know. So you blink and you have a huge chunk of this race gone. So at what point is it time to say, okay, I've saved my stuff long enough, I got to go? What point is that? We none know the correct answer. We always try, and we try to nail it on the head as best we can. So whatever driver can manage their equipment but have enough left in the tank for the end of this race, they'll be the driver to go up there and have to battle the likes of Chris Carroll. Chris Carroll keeps getting good jumps out on the field. He's almost a second in front right now. Is he asking too much out of his equipment right now, guys?
He could be because you still have like 55 laps left in this race, and to be pushing it that hard, he's probably getting pretty hot.
Pose a question then for you fellas. That's a good point too. Every track's a little different. When do you make the move? And by that I mean, it depends on tracks. You know, at Daytona and Talladega, you know, sometimes you're waiting till the last lap to
Right.
make your move because they're so big, and of course the dynamics of that style of racing. Maybe mile and a half, you wait till 3 to go. Short tracks like this, short tracks like this. When is the textbook make your move with 10 to go, make your move with 25 to go? What would you guys say on that?
I'd be trying to move now, but I would really be trying to push in at 40 to go.
Go ahead, Matt. Sorry, finish.
Oh, the accordion effect here is big. I mean, when they all go in the corner and check up, I don't know if you notice how spread out they are now. It spreads them out really big. So you need to go now because you're running out of time.
I think on a track like this, Chuck, or a track like Martinsville, I'm set on kill at all times. And now that's not going to be good because I'm going to destroy my tires, right? But my whole theory is on a track like this, the least amount of cars out your windshield, that's the least amount of a chance for you to be involved in a wreck, right? So if there's 10 cars out your windshield, you got a good chance that one of them 10 cars might wreck somebody, and then you can be involved in it. If it's clean out your windshield, you're good to go. I mean, you're smooth sailing at that point. And it's so hard to pass here. If I get the opportunity, I'm going for it. It don't matter what lap it is.
Yeah, I think so.
And now you asked why we don't race in Rebels anymore, or you were mentioning it. And that's probably why right there, because of my mentality. I'm a different person when I sit inside the cockpit. Now I try to make friends more than I make enemies, but at the end of the day, Chuck, you hit it a while ago. We're racing. We're all out here for one goal, and that's to win the race.
All right. Well, like I said at the beginning too, and that was, you know, that's personal, none of my biz. But like I said, you know, we weren't live yet, but
Right.
I do give you props. You really have professionalism, patience, and etiquette, especially at Bristol. And we're talking short tracks, you know, and me being so young and inexperienced at that time. I've never forgot that, Tanner. Yeah, so I officially out there for everybody, I give you props for the way you kind of took care of me and understanding the different skill level between you and me, and you starting right behind me on a restart. So I've never forgot that, and I thank you for that, Tanner.
Absolutely, brother. And I said thank you when you said it a while ago, and I'm going to say thank you again. And that don't even begin to really describe how thankful I am to hear that, because we got a bad rep in that league. You know, we really did. Me and Scotty Stevens, we can be maybe too aggressive at times, but I think, honestly, I mean, we don't need to get into it right now, but I think we got into it with the wrong people in the wrong spots, and that's what kind of hurt us. I love all them guys over there. I really do. So that's why when I got the chance to call Apex, the little sister series almost to Rebels, is how I look at it. A lot of the same drivers in there. I jumped on it. I jumped on it because I've always kept an eye on Rebels, and what y'all do over there is fantastic. I mean, and I miss racing in it. I miss racing in Thunderstruck. I'll be quite honest. I mean, I really do, because there is a lot of good guys over there. And Chuck, you've been running up front. Matt, you've been running up front. There's a lot of talent over there too.
Oh, there's a lot of talent in Apex.
Yeah.
I give them props.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I haven't spoken about paint schemes tonight. I definitely have my fave.
let me wait a second, Chuck. Before you hit that, let's pull up our graphic. Our MF Race Designs best paint scheme of the night. Who do you got, Mr. Pegleg? And I'll put the camera on him.
And so I'll do a fave and like a 1 and a 1 alpha. 1 for me, I know a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into paint schemes. And around iRacing, I've seen some amazing, like pure, like artwork, just crazy paint schemes. But I'm not so much, I'm kind of old fashioned. I like kind of, I don't want to say basic, but for lack of a better term, doesn't have to have a lot of flash. I kind of like the basic classic look.
Yep, I'm with you.
And so I have two. I really like I think it's 51. I don't know if he's on track right now, but there it is right there, the silver and the black, very crisp, very clean. So that's my number two. I like the color contrast. I do like the reflection, especially on that silver, but I will always, I'm a sucker, maybe it's because of my military service, but if there's a car that's ever gonna flat out put out that red, white, and blue, you got my heart and soul, man. And so I got to go with that 28 again. One, the red, white, and blue, always and forever, is near and dear to me. And then it's also crisp, not too flashy, not over the top.
Right.
Just a nice basic red, white, and blue. So I got to go with that 28, both for the style and sporting America's
For the meaning.
colors.
Exactly.
Yep.
And before I go to you, Matt, for the ones that don't know, Chuck, he tried to pay this country the ultimate sacrifice. He went and served this country when he didn't have to, and he served in the Marines, if I recall correctly, right, Chuck?
Yes, I actually did 22 years. I
22.
actually did two branches. I did 13 years Marine Corps and 9 years Army. All 22 were infantry.
Then on behalf of not only me, Five Kings Motorsports, Five Kings Network, for that, brother, we salute you for your service, and we can't thank you enough for that, buddy. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, and honestly, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to do so. Some people want to and are unable to for whatever reason. So it's not only an honor; it was a privilege to be able to serve one's country.
It's awesome to hear. And now, thank you for that. And to segue, Mr. Matt Rogers, who would be your MF Racing Designs best paint scheme of the night if you had to choose?
All right. Thank you, Chuck.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna have to say the 29 of Frank Barbary. I just like flashy.
Oh my goodness, we're never going to hear the end of this. Oh man,
He laughed out, but this man's sporting a heck of a paint scheme.
we're never going to hear the end of this. The whole time I was like, just don't say 29, don't say 44. Now they got ammunition in the gun. I can't. I hope they don't watch this deep. I hope they don't watch this deep into the broadcast. So Frank Barbary is your MF Red Design's best paint scheme of the night. You know, now it's on me, and I truly.
Scotty Stevens around.
Ooh, Scotty has went around
Dude,
this.
it's around.
Oh man, I jinxed you, broadcaster jink. I know
Yep.
enough about broadcasting to
Yep.
know that.
It's
I'm
real.
sorry, Scotty. That's my bad, Scotty. I take the blame for that one, brother. I was pulling for you. You were my pick, so I am so sorry, Scotty. First time broadcasting ever, and I induced the broadcast jink. My bad, brother.
Looks like he just got loose coming off that corner.
Yep.
It's my fault.
The broadcast curse.
Blame it on the new guy.
The broadcast curse is very, very real, and you get egg on your face if you. So if I say, for instance, I'll say, well, yeah, I think Chuck Pegleg Phelps is gonna win this race, and then Pegleg goes out there and wrecks 3 laps later. I'll be thinking about that when I go to bed that night. So the broadcaster curse is very, very real, and I've kind of stepped away from the comments here. Kelly Coffee said, if you don't get those cats fixed, Tanner, you'll have more than 7 very soon. I totally agree. And if I could get them fixed, I would, Kelly. The 2 that we started out with, I can pet them. They love us, you know. The other 5, only time you can get near them is when there's food involved. I mean, that's just it. So as far as the other ones, I can't even get close to them. Now, Emily can. They like Emily, okay, my fiance. But, so my best paint scheme of the night, fellas, I'm going to go, I don't know. I hate being put on the spot because I love paint schemes too much. I'm going to, and you know, I'll be honest, though, I hate doing them when I have, so I'm the owner of Five Kings Motorsports, so obviously I have teammates in here. So I always got to be mindful that I never try to show biasy in the booth. And if I ever do, please somebody tell me. So my paint scheme tonight, I'm going to go with the 99 of Chris Carroll. It was blue all last season. All he changed was just the main color. He went from blue to black. And it gives me a Dale Earnhardt vibe to it. I'm not sure if y'all feel that way, but it really does, for some reason, give me the Dale Earnhardt vibe.
Yeah, I was kind
I
of
got
seeing
you.
Kevin Harvick, but yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same.
yes. Okay, so the Kevin Harvick is actually more spot on because of the double number too.
Right, the 29. Oh, I'm the 29 and 99 and 29.
Yep. So that
So,
is actually spot on.
super quick story. I know we're getting ready to go back green, but speaking of paints, and I do agree, I do like flashy. Don't get me wrong, but if I have to choose, I like the basic. But y'all remember back the whole Lipton iced tea thing that was going around? That guy beat somebody up with the Lipton iced tea thing.
Ooh, yeah.
That one going around.
Keep going, Chuck.
So Matt Rogers did an amazing paint scheme. You remember this probably, Matt. We was running over an Apex, and we were under caution.
Keep going. You're good. We're listening.
And he did a Lipton iced tea can theme thing, and his tailgate on his truck wasn't just silver. It was so chromed out, it literally looked like a mirror. And I specifically remember this. It was so much eye candy and distracting. I actually scraped the wall because there was so much reflection. We were at Daytona, and so I was right up behind his bumper. Not only did I see the reflection on my front end, I actually saw my little iRacing character in his tailgate. I saw my steering wheel in the reflection of his tailgate. It was amazing. And it was such a good eye candy. I actually put myself in the wall at Daytona because I was just amazed at his paint scheme. So I don't know if that was by design to be distracting.
Right.
It was an amazing paint scheme, and I'll never forget that one, Matt.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So wait, Matt, you painted it?
Yeah, I paint.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, I knew Justin Miller from Apex does a lot of painting, and that's 1-inch Designs for the ones that don't know. Check him out on Facebook. But I did not know, Matt, that you also painted. So I have a serious paint scheme addiction, is what Jason Raymond calls it. I have probably easily over $2,000 in die cast that I collect, and it's all
Nice.
It's all because I love paint schemes. So like if Blaney's one that had a lot of different paint schemes this season, and now I collect more old school stuff, but I will, if I like some of the new school stuff, I will get it. But for instance, like Blaney, man, I have over $400 worth of his stuff just because he changes paint schemes every week, and I'm a sucker for it. But I want to get back to the action real quick. So we saw that restart, no harm, no foul. But let's look and see what happened to Mr. Brian Zimmerman right here, as it's not going to show me all the way. Cool.
It looked to me, I went back and watched it. The 65 just drove into this corner panel. The 14 spun him.
But yeah, but look right
Yeah.
here at the front of the pack. The 7 and 28 got together. The 28 went no man's land out here. Not going to get caution out there in the grass. He got saved by that caution.
Right.
I mean, absolutely saved by that caution.
And
Lights are off on the pace truck. We got 13 laps to go, fellas. This race has flown by. Maybe not to y'all, but I promise, like to me.
Oh, it's going fast.
It's gone by.
Went by fast, and that 99 fires off quick again. He does not wait. He gets in the spot where he thinks it's good, and he goes, and that's what he's doing right now. Oh, Chris Carroll out front got Alice Coffey trying to chase him down. As we got 12 laps to go, going to be 11 this time by when they cross the stripe.
Looks like the 44 Raymond's made it up to third place.
Yep, he's trying to throw his name in the hat. And we do the same thing that all the other leagues do. If you finish in the top 3, you're going to get yourself an interview tonight, and that's what Raymond's looking for. But I promise you, that 44 wants a little bit more. $30 up to grab right now. Chris Carroll's already won $10 for having the fastest time of the night. Is he going to be able to capitalize? Do the last to first challenge, as we're now 10 to go. And I want to mention this 10 to go is brought to you by BAM Racing Videos. If you like sim racing, we got you covered here. 5 Kings Motorsports, 5 Kings Network. But if you're a fan of real life racing, please do yourself the favor. Look up BAM Racing Videos as 44 gets really loose. Look up BAM Racing Videos on YouTube. It's short track grassroots racing at its finest. Once again, it's BAM Racing Videos, and we thank them for being a sponsor on 5 Kings Network. Raymond almost, it was like he forgot he was racing and not doing drift competition because he had that car completely sideways right then, fellas.
Oh, it's
And
definitely go
Stevens
time
trying
now.
to get that podium. Yeah, we got Scotty Stevens just really trying to get that podium.
Yep, and this is the battle right here. It's everybody else is pretty much stretched out a little bit. I'm keeping an eye on this 28. That was your MF Res Design's best paint scheme of the night. I'm keeping an eye on him because I have a feeling if he got back to that 7, which it don't look likely now, only 6 laps to go, but if Brian Zimmerman got back up there to Alex Coffey, I don't think either Coffey would be happy tonight. Speaking of Alex and Kelly, who's in the chat always, and Kelly, we thank you for always tuning in right now. You get mad whenever I say this, but your baby boy is currently sitting second right now. He is a grown man. She made a joke with me before I called him baby boy. We're 4 laps to go, fellas.
Well, I got one final question for you, fellas, as we got a good battle going between the 28 and the 2. So, grip levels, been talking about it all night. I'm trying to learn. So, when they come onto the NASCAR pit road, when they transition from the asphalt to the concrete portion, as you see as they come around, how much is there a significant grip level difference there, or not as much as I would be thinking?
You can feel it. You feel a difference. So that's actually, I'm so glad you talked about that. That was one of my notes I was supposed to talk about, and I never brought it up. So thank you for that, Chuck, because we're coming to the white flag. If you have your wheel cranked too much when you hit that concrete, and now it don't really look like it either, but there's a transition right there. It's not completely flat, and you feel the car. You can kind of see it bounce over. But man, oh man, it can get wicked loose right there. As we have Chris Carroll coming around turn 4 for the final time tonight. Number 99 won the fastest qualifier. Started in the back and put that 99 up front, and he's going to put on a show for us and burn it down.
Doing some drifting, some
Yep.
Tokyo drifting right there.
Look
That's
at
my
it.
pick right there.
Yep. I can't call it your pick. That was cheating. That was basically cheating.
And
He's $30 richer today.
Yep. And but he's Canadian. He'll make a joke when he comes up here. He's Canadian. He's like, he said last time he won like $20. He said, I'm not sure what the
Pinty's League.
rate or whatever. What's it called? What's the? Well,
Oh,
why,
man,
why am I
just
drawing a
lost-
blank? Exchange rate. Exchange rate.
Yeah,
He was like,
exchange rate.
I'm not sure what the exchange rate would be, but it ain't gonna matter because what matters is that 99 went up front. He burnt it down. So whatever tires he did have left on that machine, those rear tires are definitely cooked. And now, fellas, I did not talk about this beforehand, but we'll do it this way. Matt will allow you to interview third place, who is Jason Raymond. Chuck, you can take second place, who is Alex Coffey, and then I'll interview Carol if that sounds good with y'all.
Sounds fine with me. You're the boss, Tanner.
We're all in this together, brother. But Matt, you now have Mr. Ramon up in the broadcast booth with you.
Jason Raymond, third place, started 10th. How's it feel?
Man, that was a long race. That was
Oh, shut up!
it was it
I'm
was
just
fun,
playing.
but it was crazy, man. That the restarts were, I mean, you never knew it was gonna happen. One person had slight contact in the front, and it was just an accordion all the way through the field, and that's I think where a lot of the problems were for some people were just restarts. Other than that, it was fun. Patience was definitely a big thing here, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Did you lose a lot of grip going towards the end there?
Actually, I was still all right. I mean, I was getting loose a little bit on exit, but it wasn't like unbearable. I was taking it easy for most of the race and just kind of trying to be consistent. And I think my tires were all right. I haven't looked yet, but
So he says his grip was all right then, but we saw him completely sideways coming out of turn 2. So don't let him fool you. He was struggling a little bit for grip there. Maybe not to the point of wrecking, but it did look pretty loose right then, Jason.
oh yeah, I mean it was definitely a little loose, but it wasn't too bad. I mean it was kind of spontaneous on when it would want to kick out on you, and I think the biggest thing was just throttle control of getting back to the throttle. I mean, you're basically parking it through the center of the turn. You feel like you're going super slow, and then when you try to get back on the gas, it liked to kick out. So you just have to be patient with it and let it roll before you got back on.
Right on, Raymond. And before we get you out of here, congratulations on your podium finish tonight. You got any sponsor shout outs to make that 44 somewhat fast every week? You're my buddy. I can't give you all the props.
Oh yeah, for sure. First of all, I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. I got to thank my parents and also all the guys over at Five Kings Motorsports. I got to thank MF Racing Designs for this awesome paint job, the Barn Package Store, Tile Chief, McConey Setup Shop, thebuttkicker.com, Savage Edge Apparel, FB Sim Racing Button Box, Raise Energy, and BAM Racing Videos.
Right on. It's a laundry list supporting us over here at Five Kings Motorsports. Jason, congratulations on bringing home P3. We'll be seeing you on track tomorrow on the OSR network. We're going to Stafford, your home track. Congratulations tonight. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Thank you.
Alrighty, then we have our second place runner tonight, Chuck. He is all yours, Mr. Alex Coffey.
Good evening, Alex. Nice podium finish. How you doing?
Pretty good. What about yourself?
Doing well. New here with this racing and broadcasting here, so yeah, I was just so excited to be a part of this and watch. So I'm kind of out there in viewing land, not a lot of experience here. So kind of take me through your race. According to my notes, I see that you gridded up 11th, but you got yourself a nice P2 finish. So what was your mindset starting relatively deep in the field? Was it be aggressive, get up there and stay up there, or was it a little cautious aggressive, or just tiptoe through and just sort of pick your way through? And then once you got up there, what do you think you needed to just get that one more spot? Was there anything that you could have done different that you wish you would have, or did you give it all you got? Just kind of walk me through your race in general.
Oh yeah, at the beginning there we took a few shots on the left rear and got in a few slides, and I think I burnt the tires up to no return early in the race just from those slides. Wish we would have had one more set in the pits. I think it would have made things a little interesting. But overall, I had a great time out here. I love the Legends Ovals every time.
It's an awesome, again, all you drivers, I don't care who finish, I've never driven a track of this distance and or the super late model, and you put on a heck of a show, and I just absolutely enjoyed the show that you guys put on. And once again, I'd like to congratulate you on your nice second place finish. Way to give us a nice show, brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thanks for helping with the broadcast, and thanks to Tanner and Joshua for putting it on like always. Yep.
Coffee, I want to butt in really quick before we cut you loose. So, I don't want to paint it out to something that it's not, and you can tell us more. But it seems like there's been a rivalry brewing between the likes of you and the driver number 28. Then we saw y'all make a little bit of contact right then. He got the bat in the stick tonight. Was that maybe just trying to rough him up a little bit, or did you just get in there a little hot? What was going through your mind at that point?
So with these Legends Ovals, it being a flat quarter mile, the inside's so dominant.
Right.
You want to get down there as quick as you can. And so when you get hung out to the outside, that's when you go backwards. So there was a little incident on the start going into 3 before we took the green. I expected the 99 to run down by the white line like he had every restart before. But for some odd reason, he chose to run the middle.
So I saw that. I saw y'all hit before.
We had a little contact, and he took off while I was still recovering. So at that point, I was just trying to salvage to get down into 3rd and misjudged his bumper a little bit.
I love you, Coffee. I love the fire you bring. And now, if I was on the other end of the fire, I may not like it, but we've raced each other pretty close. I think we've been involved in an incident. I don't think we've ever wrecked each other though. So it's still all love for me, and it was a good race tonight. Congratulations on your P2, Alex, and we'll be back on track tomorrow in the modified to Stafford.
Yes, sir. I'm sure if you ask anybody, they'll either tell you they love me or they hate me. There's no in between. But
hey, that's me too.
It is what it is. I'll take P2.
All or none, man. All or none.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir, buddy.
Have a good one.
Alrighty, and then there was one. I've mentioned it a couple times tonight. Not only was he the fastest in practice, he doubled that up. He went fastest in qualifying. And then if that wasn't enough for him, he had to let that ego get a little bit bigger. He had to win the race night and win himself $30. Not sure how the exchange rate's going to go for him in that regard. But Chris Carroll, Tanner Moore, and the booth, you got a copy.
I got a copy, Tanner Moore.
Chris, so I wasn't even going to mention on the broadcast, but I did want to ask you when we went off air. But then Alex mentioned it. That I think it was the second to last restart, I do believe. It looked like you and Coffee were kind of beating and banging as y'all were going into 3. Was that intentional or was it just a mistake? Because y'all hit not once, not twice, but it looked like 3 times.
I am not gonna lie, I have no idea what that was about, but I was just trying to time my restart there and make him guess wrong, and I got hit in the door about 3 times. So I'm not sure what that was all about. Right after that, I seen him push Zimmerman off the track too, so I was wondering if he was mad about something. Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, he told us straight up. He said, I wasn't sure what was going on before the start, and then he was recovering, I think he said, and then you went, you're the leader, it's your choice, you can go when you want. And he was just trying to fight for his life at that point. You get on the outside here at this track, Martinsville, any type of tracks, you're basically a sitting duck. So I think he was just trying to get to the inside, and he just outright said, he said, I just misjudged the bumper. Now,
Yeah, 10-4.
you can get more of it from him, but that's what he told us. But, not to take away anything from you tonight, you started at the back of this pack, and when you took the lead, Chris, you was one of the only few drivers out here tonight that did not have a mangled up front end. How in the world was you able to actually do that and succeed and win this race tonight, starting in the very back?
Well, you got to pick and choose your spots, and I'm always preaching that racecraft is worth more than speed. And it was tough, man. There were some guys spinning the tires on the restarts, and everybody having different braking points going into one, and some guys' tires were worn out, and some guys' tires weren't. So, it was tough. It was a whole lot easier once you get to the front. You can just run your own race and be smooth. But it's tough in the middle there. I saw. It's nobody's fault. It's a tough track. Most of us have never raced together before with each other, and everyone's trying to make up a spot here and there on the restart, and it's ugly just getting into one there.
Right. And now me and Peglek talked about it. At the end of the day, y'all are racing. You're not on the interstate. You're not just playing follow the leader. You're racing out there. So stuff's going to happen. And we saw it early in the race, but you were able to keep it clean and put on a heck of a show in that 99. Chris, I know you got one sponsor for sure, that is USAFirearms.com, owned by the one and only Brian Zimmerman. Who else you got to thank for that 99 tonight?
I got to thank you guys for putting on the show. Without you guys, we don't have a place to race, and we don't have anywhere to do our thing, which, we all love doing, and it's awesome that you guys give us that place. But I got to thank Pit Lizard Performance, and I got to thank all my family and friends that watch the telecast and watch you guys let us do our thing.
Absolutely, Chris. We'll be back on track tomorrow. Crooked Line Racing on the OSR Network. Over doing some tour modifieds at Stafford. Congratulations on the win tonight. $30 richer, and maybe we'll be talking to you tomorrow, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it. I will hopefully see you tomorrow night.
All righty, buddy. We'll be there. All right. Thank y'all. All right, folks. SDK is still being a pain right now. It's not letting me pull up the results for whatever reason. So, basically, we know how it was. Chris Carroll came in first. Alex Coffey second. Jason Raymond third. Brian Zimmerman fourth. And Scotty Stevens finished it out in the top 5. Brian, that's top 5, finishing 5th. Christian Pittman, Joshua Sexton, Frank Barb, Trantham, and then that's Tyler Catalano was rounded out our top 10. Chuck and Matt, I want to thank y'all both again for coming up in the booth with me tonight. I hope y'all had fun. The door is always open. If y'all ever want to come back and call another race with me, you're more than welcome to. Before we close up shop, any final thoughts from tonight's race?
It was an exciting race. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for hosting. Thanks for having us aboard.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you as well, Tanner, for having me be a guest commentator tonight. Hopefully I did okay, but more importantly, it was a privilege and honor to be able to do so. I had a great time. This is a new form of racing, and it was absolutely exciting. As always, Matt, great hanging with you again, and we'll be friends again after Thursday.
All right, guys, it's been Tanner Moore, Chuck Feltz, and Matt Rogers in the Five Kings Network booth. You can catch these two not talking on Thursday. Instead, they're going to be battling We're going Daytona for the Apex E-Series Showdown season opener. It was the clash last week. It was won by Mr. Charles Stevens, driver number 88, Chuck Felt's teammate. You can catch us live and in living color starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central this Thursday night. But until then, it's been a fun one here tonight. Chris Carroll brought it home in Victory Lane once again. Until next time, we'll see you.